Anyway, so did you guys hear that Vladimir Putin's Russia shot down in Azerbaijan? I don't know how to. Who cares? I like to disrespect the names of countries that shouldn't exist, like Azerbaijan. I'm going to say Yan. He shot down an airliner, passenger airliner. Very American-esque of him, or very Russian-esque, depending on who you ask. You know, the Americans have done that before. They did that to Iran in the 80s under Reagan. Shut down an airliner. 200 people died. Now Vladimir Putin's pulling a Reagan, or a Putin, depending on your opinions on the plane that they also shot down in 2014. MH whatever. So obviously Russia shot the plane down. It's like, who else would it have been? The plane was over Chechnya at the time. Russia claims that there was Ukrainian drone activity over Chechnya at the time, and they mistakenly shot it down because they mistook it for like a Ukrainian object or something. So yeah, it was pretty obviously hit by shrapnel from Russian air defense systems. And that brought the plane down, and miraculously somehow, like half the people survived. And I mostly just want to cover this because I know that there's going to be weirdos who show up to tell us how it was actually shot down by the USA or something. Like look, if I was like a like a Western chauvinist sort of person, what I would say here is do that style of thing where it's like, that's terrible. Ukraine should surrender immediately to ensure that nothing like this ever happens again. Like, that's how they react whenever Israel massacres a bunch of people or something like that. So now that the Russians accidentally shot down a passenger airliner, maybe I should react in the same way they would. That's terrible. Ukraine should surrender immediately to make sure this never happens again. Or that's terrible. It's the Ukrainians' fault for having drones over Chechnya at the time and confusing the Russians into shooting down the passenger airliner. Obviously, Azerbaijan is like a Russian ally. Are they actually? I'm not even sure, really. I think they're like sort of aligned. They don't want to fuck with them too much. Putin like said sorry, basically. He did not admit responsibility, but he said sorry. And why would he be saying sorry if they didn't do anything wrong, you know? The plane you can just see the tail. In the tail in this picture, you can see it has shrapnel. Like, this is like the pattern of like what do you call it? Like, you know, when like a thing releases a ton of fucking ball bearings or whatever, little metal balls. You can see that is not the sort of damage that is going to happen to a plane just out of fucking nothing. I cannot fucking believe that like 20 people lived. That's insane though. There was another thing as well where apparently the Russians refused the plane an emergency landing in Chechnya, and it had to divert without functioning GPS to somewhere else that was further away. That probably got more people killed as well because it made the landing worse, surely. So yeah, obviously fucking Russia did it. Give me a break. But I am going to take the stance of your average Western chauvinist and say, man, that sucks. That's such a tragedy. Ukraine should surrender immediately to ensure nothing like this ever happens again. The classic John Aziz, like Israel massacres 20 people and he's like, that's terrible. Hamas should surrender immediately to bring this tragedy to an end. I'm just applying the logic that they do to Palestinians, to the war in Ukraine. That's simple. Don't send Steven Seagal. That's a punishment, not an apology. That's worse than shooting down the fucking plane, dude. Get out of here. It's like sending Hillary Clinton to apologize for the Iraq War. No one wants that. There's like that Onion video about like weaponized Hillary Clinton. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It's like literally 20 years old, and it still just resonates just as well today as it did back then. US condemned for preemptive use of Hillary Clinton against Pakistan. You've probably never seen this before because most of you are 15 years old.
Pakistani officials are expressing outrage following what many in the international community are calling the brutal and unjustified use of Hillary Clinton against their nation. Secretary of State Clinton hit Islamabad at approximately 9 a.m. yesterday as most civilians were starting...
I like the impact animation.
Yesterday as most civilians were starting their workday or attending morning prayers. Just hours after Clinton arrived, the UN released a statement condemning the United States, saying, quote, under no circumstances is there ever a justification for the preemptive deployment of Hillary Clinton anywhere by any country. Joining us now is Pakistan.
Like the Russian version of this would absolutely be Steven Seagal. It would be Steven Seagal, no question. But anyway, you know why this happens to like Iran mistakenly shoots down a plane once every 20 years. You know why Russia mistakenly shot down this plane? Because there's actual fucking wars there. Because there is the potential for this sort of thing to happen. The US has the privilege of never ever ever being attacked ever, nor could it ever be attacked due to geographical position. But when the US does like operate in war zones, does have like some sort of like air traffic responsibility, even though not really, they don't. They still shoot down airliners, as I said. It happened under Reagan. So it's like, oh, the Russians mistakenly shot down a passenger plane. They're uniquely bad for doing that. Well, maybe they are bad. And I'm sure there has to be some incredible fuck up to allow this to happen, to allow that plane to get even anywhere near a place where there was like active air defense operations going on, where there was like an active attack going on. But the reason why you can point to Russia doing this is because Russia's actually in that sort of situation where that thing could feasibly happen. Mistakes made or not. The USA would be mistakenly shooting down passenger planes left and right in a similar sort of situation, just as the Russians do. It's not some sort of unique level of incompetence or malice. It's just the difference in the situation. Obviously, there should not be passenger planes flying anywhere fucking near that place in the first place. So that's the first point of failure is that. How is the airspace not closed long beforehand? Anyway, you guys owe me money for doing Russian propaganda to excuse Vladimir Putin.